Right now, at this exact moment, two objects built by human hands are drifting through interstellar space. They are the most distant human-made objects in existence. They have been flying for 47 years. They were designed to last 5. One of them, Voyager 1, is so far away that a signal sent to it right now, traveling at the speed of light, won't arrive until tomorrow, and it is dying. Instrument by instrument, system by system, the engineers at JPL are making impossible decisions. Which piece of the spacecraft to switch off to keep the rest alive a little longer? In April 2026, they powered down one of its last working science instruments. They are attempting a last-ditch repair nicknamed the Big Bang, a final engineering gamble from 25 billion kilometers away. When Voyager finally goes silent, and it will, probably within the next few years, it will become the loneliest object in the history of our species, drifting through the dark between stars, carrying a golden record that contains the sounds of Earth for 40,000 years before it passes within range of another star. Nobody alive today will know if it's ever found. Before it goes quiet, here is what it found. In 1977, a graduate student named Gary Flandreau was working at JPL on trajectory calculations. He discovered something extraordinary. Every 176 years, the outer planets of the solar system align in a configuration that allows a spacecraft to visit all 4 of them: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, using each planet's gravity to slingshot to the next. Without this alignment, reaching Neptune alone would take decades using conventional trajectories. The alignment was coming. It would peak between 1977 and 1978, and it wouldn't come again until 2153. NASA had a narrow window. They built 2 spacecraft, each roughly the size of a Honda Civic, weighing about 800 kilograms, and launched them 16 days apart in the summer of 1977. The primary mission, 5 years. Fly past Jupiter and Saturn, collect data, send it back, done. What actually happened was something else entirely. The planetary discoveries alone would have made Voyager one of the greatest scientific missions in history. At Jupiter, Voyager 1 discovered that Io, one of Jupiter's moons, was covered in active volcanoes, not ancient, extinct volcanoes. Active ones erupting in real time, caught on camera for the first time. Before Voyager, Io was expected to be cold, dead, and cratered like our own moon. What the images showed was a world being constantly torn apart and rebuilt by tidal forces from Jupiter, the most volcanically active body in the solar system. At Saturn, Voyager revealed that the rings, which had always appeared from Earth as a simple flat disk, were actually made of thousands of individual ringlets with complex wave patterns, braided structures, and gaps created by tiny shepherd moons. The rings were not the static, simple feature we thought. They were a dynamic, constantly evolving system. Voyager 2 went further. It became, and remains, the only spacecraft to visit Uranus and Neptune. At Uranus, it found a planet tilted almost entirely on its side, rotating like a rolling ball, rather than a spinning top. At Neptune, it photographed the Great Dark Spot, a storm system the size of Earth, and discovered that Triton, Neptune's largest moon, had active geysers erupting nitrogen gas into space, despite surface temperatures of negative 235 degrees Celsius. Every planet was different from what we expected. Every moon held surprises. And then the primary mission ended. And instead of shutting the probes down, NASA kept them running. The outer solar system is not empty space. It is filled with something called the solar wind, a constant stream of charged particles flowing outward from the sun at hundreds of kilometers per second. This wind creates a bubble around the entire solar system called the heliosphere. Everything inside that bubble is, in a sense, inside the sun's influence. Nobody had ever crossed that boundary before. The Voyager probes were heading toward it. Scientists had theories about what the edge of the heliosphere would look like. They predicted a relatively smooth transition. The solar wind gradually subsonic speeds, like a shockwave. Voyager 1 crossed it in 2004. Voyager 2 crossed it in 2007, but in a different location, suggesting the heliosphere is not a perfect sphere as assumed, but an irregular, shifting structure shaped by the interstellar environment pressing against it from outside. Then came the heliosheath, a turbulent, foamy region where the slowing solar wind and the incoming interstellar medium mix and churn. The probe spent years in this region, and what they measured there overturned decades of models. The magnetic field was oriented differently than predicted. The plasma density was wrong. The temperature was wrong. The region was structured in unexpected ways that required entirely new physics to explain. On August 25th, 2012, Voyager 1 crossed the heliopause, the final boundary, where the sun's influence ends and true interstellar space begins. It was the first human-made object to enter interstellar space. Scientists don't yet know the shape of the heliosphere. The Voyager's findings have revealed countless new puzzles about the outer heliosphere and interstellar space. Voyager 2 followed in November 2018, entering interstellar space through a different part of the heliopause. The two probes crossed the boundary at different distances from the Sun, confirming that the heliosphere's shape is asymmetric, dented by the interstellar wind, pushing against one side more than the other. Interstellar space itself was not what was expected either. The plasma density was higher than models predicted. The magnetic field direction shifted at the boundary in ways that surprised researchers. And there was something nobody had fully anticipated. A hydrogen wall, a region of compressed neutral hydrogen atoms piling up at the outer edge of the heliosphere, where the sun's radiation slows them down. Voyager detected it. We had never seen it directly before. The edge of our solar system was stranger, more complex, and more dynamic than 40 years of theoretical modeling had produced. As of 2026, only 2 instruments remain operational on Voyager 1, the plasma wave subsystem and the magnetometer. Each one that gets switched off is a permanent loss. There is no repair mission possible at this distance. There is no spare parts supply chain. There is only the dwindling output of 3 plutonium-powered generators, each one converting heat from radioactive decay into electricity, losing power every year as the plutonium decays. In November 2026, Voyager 1 will reach 1 light day from Earth, the distance at which a signal traveling at the speed of light takes 24 hours to arrive. It will be the first human-made object to reach this milestone. Engineers are currently attempting a last-ditch repair, nicknamed the Big Bang, an ambitious attempt to extend the probe's impressive lifespan, and perhaps even restart some of its science instruments. The team working on Voyager today includes NASA retirees in their 80s who remember the original design, advising engineers young enough that their parents weren't born when the probes launched. It is one of the most remarkable intergenerational engineering efforts in history. People who built a spacecraft in the 1970s, and people who grew up with smartphones, working together to keep a 47-year-old machine alive from 25 billion kilometers away. At some point in the next few years, the power will drop below the threshold needed to operate any science instrument. The probes will continue flying. There is nothing to stop them, but they will stop talking. And then, they will drift. Both Voyager probes carry a golden record. It contains 115 images of Earth, greetings in 55 languages, music from Bach to Chuck Berry, sounds of surf and wind and thunder and whales. It contains a stylus for playing it, and diagrams explaining how. It was assembled by a committee chaired by Carl Sagan with the explicit understanding that it might never be found, and the explicit hope that it might. In about 40,000 years, Voyager 1 will pass within 1.6 light-years of the star Gliese 445. It will not stop there. It will continue drifting indefinitely through the galaxy. The golden record will remain intact. The vacuum of space preserves things almost perfectly. In a billion years, assuming nothing collides with it, the record will still be there. The sounds of Earth will still be encoded in its grooves. By that time, our sun will have brightened enough to make Earth uninhabitable. The continents will have rearranged. Whatever remains of our species, if anything does, will be utterly unrecognizable to us. And somewhere in the dark between stars, a small spacecraft the size of a Honda Civic will still be carrying the sounds of waves breaking on a beach, a child crying, a woman laughing, the most human thing we ever sent anywhere, drifting through a universe that does not care and does not notice and will not stop. Subscribe to Void Atlas. We go further every week. I'll see you next time.